Welcome to In the Envelope, an awards podcast. I am your host, Jack Smart, awards editor at Backstage. I'm here to give you a front row seat to the Emmys, Oscars, SAG, and Tonys races. Who is in the running? What makes an award-worthy performance? And what are the secrets to giving one? These intimate, inspirational conversations with some of today's most talented stars provide you, dear listener, the kind of craft and career advice that could win you a statue of your own, and maybe, just maybe, a tantalizing glimpse in the envelope. Hello. You want to reintroduce yourself to podcast listeners?
Yeah, hello.
When were we last here?
Yeah, the last time we were here, was it for Emmys? We were talking. Sure. We were talking about the other two.
Yeah. Helena York.
Yeah, and I forget what context that was in. It just must have been Phase 1 Emmys.
Yeah.
Favorite things of the year, because I loved that show. So,
Yeah. We're going to talk about that. So reintroduce yourself.
Oh, yeah. Hi, in the Envelope listeners. This is Benjamin Lindsay, senior editor at Backstage. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah! I think it might be worth at some point plugging like some of our coverage in terms of like, do listeners know about our Meet the Maker series and Essentialists?
Sure, yeah.
And like our many features, which we do that on the site and we do that in print.
Yeah. I mean, especially now that we're rounding out 2019, the heft of our award season coverage in terms of creators is our Meet the Maker series, which is kind of profiles on people behind the camera, people writing, directing, and their relationship with actors, in addition to their advice to others, kind of getting their start.
Advice, yeah. What are some of those highlights? This year we talked to Bong Joon-ho for Parasite.
Yeah, that was a great one.
SAG Award Ensemble nominated, Parasite. What are the other highlights of the year? We talked to Taika Waititi for Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah.
Nominated.
And his people love Taika, and I know that Jojo is kind of divisive with critics and audiences alike, sure. But I think you and I had varying opinions on it. But
you either love it or hate it.
Yeah.
A Hitler comedy.
But just the fact that he was able to pull it off is reason enough to speak to him about how he did that. I was actually, not to digress from running down the list, but I was thinking about Meet the Makers that we've had and thinking about how it relates to these nominations. Obviously, there's a lot of news with the Golden Globes not nominating any women directors.
Sure.
And I have a list here of, we spoke to so many women directors. We did Lorene Scafaria for Hustlers. We did Alma Harrell for Honey Boy. We did Lena Matsaukis for Queen and Slim, Marielle Heller for Can You Ever Forgive Me? Or not for Can You Ever Forgive Me, for A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
Yeah, Beautiful Day is getting nominations. Yeah. We talked to Marielle Heller, that's right, she's amazing.
Yeah. And all of them are amazing filmmakers and people that we are eager to feature, and sometimes that's not reflected in the awards season.
Sure. And some of those did get nominations at, we might touch on the Spirit Awards, and we might touch on the Gothams, like those are the indie guys. But yeah, you and I are sitting down right after the nominations for Globes and for SAG.
Yes, this is Monday, December 16th.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right before I feel like a couple weeks of like Hollywood is dormant.
Right.
And so are we a little bit.
Yeah.
There's not as much to cover. Ben and I have done a lot of work in November, and it's all coming out online now, and it's like now we can take a brief breath before truly insanity from January.
Yeah. But it's also time for our readers, and maybe for us, if we haven't yet, catch up on your screeners, go see the movies, see what everyone's talking about over the Christmas holiday. What good ones are coming out for Christmas? We got Little Women.
Yeah, so the late arrivals, Little Women, Uncut Gems,
Just
Mercy. I'm counting Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker as a late arrival. It's technically a contender. I think that's about it. And I do think that the late arrivals, as we talk about this every year, like when is the ideal time to release your movie? I think the consensus is still, the results kind of still show that if you're releasing your movie in November, maybe late October, you are right there having your release campaign coincide with phase one of awards stuff. Little Women didn't get any SAG. attention.
But that could very well be because not enough people have seen it yet.
True.
It could be a late in the year haul and see where it goes.
Totally.
I loved it.
Totally.
The actors are great. The writing, directing.
And that's a super ensemble movie.
Yeah.
And the fact that there can only be 5 nominees, that is tough.
Yeah.
So we mentioned Jojo Rabbit and Parasite. The other nominees are Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Quentin Tarantino, The Irishman from Martin Scorsese, 2 huge old school Hollywood directors. Can I call them old school Hollywood directors?
Yeah, old school enough.
Very big, buzzy casts with big names who also all got nominated for stuff. And then the last one is Bombshell, which got individual nominations for Charlize Theron. We're going to talk about Charlize. We're going to talk about Nicole Kidman and Margot Robbie, who's also in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yes.
The other person who got multiple nominees was Scarlett Johansson because she's in both Jojo Rabbit and Marriage Story, where she's been nominated for everything. Marriage Story did not make the list with ensembles, but they are getting the Spirit Award ensemble honor.
Right.
And they've been getting nominated at a lot of different
people have been loving that film. And especially now that people have such access to it on Netflix, I feel like, at least in the general public, I feel like people have been talking about it in a way.
Yeah.
That in the sense that everyone has seen it, you know.
It's very accessible.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like everyone in the industry has a Netflix login.
Yeah.
And is using it.
Right.
I do think, and this is something this is what a great way to plug our Letters from the Awards Editor series online. But something I mentioned recently in our kind of takeaways from the Globes and SAG nominations is that Netflix is the top earner of nominations for both TV and film, which is unprecedented because who releases both TV and film? Nobody. And the fact that the Globes, it had a leading 34 nominations and 17 of them were for film and 17 were for TV. That's crazy. That's nuts. We also noted that there was nothing from broadcast TV, from traditional networks in the Globes. And only Sterling K. Brown from This Is Us for the SAG nomination. So let's talk about TV. What were the takeaways from TV? What were some of your highlights?
Well, we're talking today, the Monday after the season finale of Watchmen.
Yes.
I thought Regina King gave one of the performances of the year.
Fully.
I thought it was a brilliant series. It is dense and pretty opaque, and I think you either love it or hate it. I fell decidedly on the love side.
Yeah.
So I was surprised that as far as SAG goes, the only recognition I got was for stunts.
And I think that might be
such
also
a strong ensemble.
A late arrivals issue.
Yeah.
It could be. It was rolling out as that was happening.
Yeah. But you have 2 Oscar winners on the cast with Jeremy Irons and Regina King.
They're all delicious.
Yeah. Jean Smart is incredible.
Jean Smart.
The list goes on. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We booked Tim Blake Nelson, who's amazing on that show as well. Let's talk about the ensembles that were nominated. Big Little Lies. That was a smart way to nominate every amazing woman on that show.
Yeah,
they didn't get individual nominations. So, The Crown. I'm watching The Crown. I'm obsessed with The Crown.
I mean, it's an all new cast, and people are super excited about it. You got Olivia Colman, fresh off her Oscar from last year, and
playing another queen.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I feel like it's a return to form for Helena Bonham Carter.
Totally.
Not that she ever fell out of form, but maybe
she's always fabulous.
She's always fabulous, but this is putting her in front of.
What inspired casting that was. And they're both, of course, individually nominated. I think it's safe to say definitely in the running for next year's Emmys.
Certainly.
A lot of these people are in the running for next year's Emmys. Handmaid's Tale, still going strong. Stranger Things, still going strong. Elizabeth Moss from Handmaids and David Harbour from Stranger Things are both individually nominated. And then for their last hurrah, Game of Thrones is nominated for ensemble, and Peter Dinklage was too. What about the comedies? We have Barry, we have Fleabag, we have Kominsky Method, we have Maisel, and we have Schitt's Creek.
And I love Fleabag, love Schitt's Creek. Those were 2 of my favorite series of the year. One is a long-awaited sequel to the first season, whereas the other one is getting recognition 5 seasons
Isn't
in?
that an interesting trajectory?
Yeah.
5 seasons in it from this obscure Canadian network called Pop TV. But because, again, with the Netflix, it was made available on Netflix and everybody started watching it and loving it. And now Catherine O'Hara has the Emmy nomination, the individual SAG nomination, and now she's part of this ensemble.
Yeah.
That's a great ensemble show. Obviously, Maisel, which just released a new season, is a great ensemble show.
And was just picked up for season 4.
People
love Maisel.
Oh, amazing. And that's worth noting, too, that SAG last year at the ceremony went really hard for Maisel. So all of the SAG AFTRA members across the country, they voted for Rachel Brosnahan for comedy actress, Tony Shalhoub for male comedy actor, and the ensemble for
yeah. I mean, not only do you have these like actors fleshed out in the ensemble,
the backstagey type of actors,
exactly.
Sure.
But it's just so sumptuous to look at and entertaining. And Amy Sherman Palladino, her dialogue is so listenable. It's great.
I think that's formidable. Obviously, Fleabag swept the Emmys, almost swept the Emmys. So Phoebe Waller-Bridge is definitely, if you're making predictions, that's probably one to add.
And did Andrew Scott get in for the SAG nom?
For SAG Individual, he did.
Yeah,
he was not nominated.
He missed out on the Emmy.
Yeah, for whatever reason. I think he also got a Globe nomination.
Mm-hmm.
So he's doing really well. We mentioned Sterling K. Brown. The Morning Show. Have you watched The Morning Show?
I have.
Apple TV.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with Billy Crudup in The Morning Show.
Yeah.
I'm so glad he got SAG nomination.
He's making capital C choices.
Capital C choices. With that creepy smile.
Yeah.
And his weird energy.
Yeah. And
it's riveting.
I've always been a fan of Jen Aniston, but I feel like this project is of her. It's showing off her capabilities in a really interesting way.
It's quintessential Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah.
She's playing a celebrity. She is a celebrity. She's playing somebody who's kind of subject to tabloids and sexism, and like I think she's harnessing a lot of her own life in that.
It really feels very lived in.
Totally. We got to talk about film.
Yep.
Okay, we're done with TV. We're done. The SAG nominations for film. We mentioned all of the ensemble nominees. What were some of your favorite performers of the year? We got to talk about Hustlers.
Oh, we got to talk about Hustlers. Yeah.
You and some of our colleagues you saw Hustlers long before anybody else did.
Yeah. I mean, we have the privilege of press screenings.
Yes.
So we got in a month or two before it actually hit theaters.
Yeah.
Long been championing Jennifer Lopez for an Oscar nomination, and she's on her way with these nominations. She's
got everything. She's got the Spirit, Golden Globe, SAG. I feel like you guys were the ones telling me, like, the hype is real. Like, believe that she could go this far in the awards conversation.
Yeah, and not only the hype is real for her, but just the film in general is so unexpectedly wonderful.
Totally. We all underestimate a story about strippers hustling Wall Street bankers.
Right. That common story.
Right. It was actually really deep and touching, and I saw it twice.
Yeah.
I don't say anything twice. Just kidding. I also saw Parasite twice because I liked Parasite a lot.
Oh yeah, and that I mean, you mentioned it briefly before, but just the fact that got the ensemble nomination as a foreign language film,
huge.
First time since Life is Beautiful, which.
Yes.
How many years was that?
That's 1998.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how often does it happen?
Yeah.
And Parasite is also very truly an ensemble film in the way that I feel like they have equal screen time, all of those actors. Not quite as true with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is mostly following Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt, or Bombshell even, which is mostly the kind of trio of three fabulous blonde ladies who are all doing really great work.
Yes, and actually for our actor listeners who haven't seen the film yet, or for those who want to re-see it, in my conversation with Bong Joon-ho, he speaks specifically to the film's various twists and turns and changes in genre, literally entire changes in genre and tone, and how he directs his actors through that, and to rewatch it and to know how he handled that with his actors. It's just a great training ground just to see the best at work.
He mapped out every shot.
Yep.
Everything's impeccably designed. Every frame of that movie is recognizably from that movie.
Yeah.
I think he's extraordinary. And the Oscars have never really honored Korean film before. And Korean film is a very, very strong industry. And he's one of the best of the best. And I believe Parasite won the Palme d'Or at Cannes this year.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of firsts for that.
Yeah,
the SAG ensemble nod was a huge that was an awesome surprise.
It's also not like Bong Joon-ho came out of nowhere. I mean, he has great respect in the States and in Hollywood for years now. Totally. So it could be recognition of the film, but also just recognition of one of our best working filmmakers today.
Writer-directors. Yeah, there's a lot of strong writer-directors. We mentioned Tarantino and Scorsese kind of being the old school, still at the top of their game, making these amazing films. If anyone's been following the kind of controversy of Martin Scorsese having opinions about the direction that film is going in with superhero movies and how those perform really well at the box office, and his decision to release The Irishman on Netflix, where lots and lots of people are going to see it, but maybe not necessarily in a giant movie theater.
Mm-hmm. But he's also said that there was no other means to make the film that he wanted to make without the means of Netflix.
Given the state of the industry.
Yeah.
Right. And he made a 3.5-hour epic.
Yeah.
I've only just seen Goodfellas recently. I know Goodfellas is definitely not on this list, but Goodfellas is a flawless film.
Oh, yeah.
It's so stunning.
Yeah, it's the
I've
bar.
Never seen it.
It's the bar for the genre.
Totally. For his own genre that he's basically the leader of.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's extraordinary. The other, of these nominations, the ones that I was really happy to see, Jamie Foxx for Just Mercy. Like we said, that was a late film.
Mm-hmm.
He is so extraordinary in that movie.
Yeah.
And he basically doesn't do much. He doesn't move his face a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those, he makes us come to him kind of performances. And I was really, really glad to see him on that list, along with, these amazing Tom Hanks as Fred Rogers. Hello. Brad Pitt, who we mentioned, and then both Al Pacino and Joe Pesci from The Irishman. This is a strong year for supporting actors.
I wasn't sure. I was very happy to see Joe Pesci on that list, but I wasn't sure, just given the gargantuan size of Al Pacino, if his subdued nature and his kind of return to film in this sense would get the recognition it deserves.
It's almost like he's known for playing louder characters.
Right.
And this was very subdued.
Yeah.
This was
but hauntingly so.
Yeah. And he's not even in it for that much. He's just very unforgettable. That's a big old sprawling cast. Other nominees, Taron Egerton, friend of the podcast, is nominated for playing Elton John.
Mm-hmm.
What's fun about the Globes, I will say, is that they have their two distinctions between drama and comedy musical. And that's why we get awesome nominees like Taron Egerton, or you have Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Some people were confused about why that was not a drama. I think it's one of the funniest movies of the year.
Yeah.
So, of course, Leonardo DiCaprio is nominated there. Eddie Murphy was nominated for the Globe. For Dolomite Is My Name.
And he's on our cover this week for our Golden Globes issue.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we're very excited to have him.
And then the other one-off is Joaquin Phoenix for Joker, who has picked up all of the important nominations.
Yeah.
And that film, I don't know where else that's going to go. I know that Todd Phillips is mostly known for directing comedies, and he was nominated for the Globe. And to me, this sounds like a similar narrative to the filmmakers behind Green Book last year, who were known for also making goofy comedies and then are now making this more prestige-y movie. This is a prestige-y movie, but it's also a superhero origin kind of movie. Joaquin Phoenix is always good, so he's like a guarantee. I'm very curious to see where this all goes. I'm going to ask you your favorite performance of the year. Just one. Film or TV?
Yeah.
If you had to pick one. Does not have to be a nominee.
In that case, I kind of teased it before, but Regina King has been a long-time favorite of mine. Awesome. I had the pleasure of sitting with her for a cover story a couple years ago, and her Oscar win last year, followed by a performance like this in Watchmen. So love her personally, and then also I think this performance is just one of the best of the year. What was your favorite performance?
If the theme is people who have not achieved the recognition that maybe they should, I can't stop thinking about Alfre Woodard in Clemency. And she got the Spirit Award nomination. It's a very tiny indie film. It's a very intimate, writer-director-driven drama about a prison warden on death row who has to deal with executing inmates. And she digs so deep psychologically, and she has these two last scenes of wordless acting that at the time blew me away, but it's just such a great example of a performance that stays with you. I feel this way about also SAG nominee Lupita Nyong'o in Us, but I think that in my mental list of my favorite film performances of the year, they're like jockeying for position. One is like this obviously very technically skilled, one would say even loud and visually impressive performance. Lupita scurrying around as this tethered clone of herself. And the other is like this psychological portrait that is very hard to describe what's going on. I like thinking of those as two examples of different kinds of great acting.
Yeah, I mean, both of them are a gut punch, just on different sides of the spectrum.
Exactly. There's something for everyone.
Yeah.
There's something for everyone in TV and film.
Yeah. It's an exciting year, and I'm excited to see what's next. I mean, we're back into it with 2020. And
we're already thinking about 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think any time that people are lamenting snubs, that means it's a healthy year.
Right.
It means that all of the nominees are very deserved to be there, and that the people who are not on the list, it's a shame, but what a great problem to have.
Right.
To have that much content and that much like amazing stuff.
Right. The value of something at the end of the day is how much you enjoy it as a piece of art, not how many trophies it has.
Yeah. Oh, what a great way to end this conversation.
All right.
Did we have anything else we were
Bookend
supposed to talk about?
That
was great.
I think that does it for me. Yeah.
That was a great way to end it.
Yeah, this was fun. I never sit for the podcast, so
for a long form discussion.
Yes, and we'll see how I like my voice on audio. Yeah, or
I think it took me a full year before I was used to it.
Producer Jamie will have some notes for me, I'm sure.
Sure. Well, maybe we can just get him to alter it or something.
Right.
We could get it to alter it to sound like Lupita Nyong'o and us.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Ben.
Yeah. Thanks, Jack.
Thank you, listeners.
In the Envelope, an awards podcast, is recorded at Lotus Productions and Hyperbolic Audio in New York City and Soundbox LA, Mark Gross Studios, and Buzzies in Los Angeles. Thanks as always to podcast producer extraordinaire Jamie Muffett and to the team at Backstage, Samantha Sherlock, Mark Stinson, Caitlin Watkins, and of course, Kasey Howe. Visit Backstage.com, and don't forget, you can subscribe to Backstage by using the code ENVELOPE at checkout for a free trial. That's right, 100% free. For more exclusive content, join us on Facebook and Twitter at In the Envelope, and subscribe, share, and leave a comment. Who would you like us to interview next? Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time for another glimpse in the Envelope.